So, I mean, this is great to bring us to the latest and very exciting venture you start. It's the launch of Bloomberg Business Week website in Vietnam, which complementing the print edition that you just started a few years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And it seems to be a very natural progression of your mission in that end. If we look at the world right now, it's full of large amount of information. And one of the things as tech, we work in tech, is a paradox of information in this age. And in the past, I mean, for most of human history, I mean, I'm sure when we were growing up, information has scarcity. So our job as human is to search for information. And those who can search better will be more valuable.
Yes.
But now information after the age of internet become way abundance, overflow of abundance. And AI just seemed to be a great amplifier of it. And our job as a human almost become like we have to filter more information, right? So maybe tell us more about this new venture. What was the driving vision behind bringing a publication known for this depth, rigor, and evidence-based analysis for Vietnam market?
Well, I think that's exactly it. You know, the great thing about Bloomberg is it runs on data. It's about aggregating data. It's about being objective. It's about analyzing that data and presenting it to the readership, right? And markets run on information. So the nice thing about Bloomberg is that you're trying to aggregate as much information and sharing it with people, right? And without Bloomberg having a publication presence in Vietnam, that means people here in Vietnam, I don't think, are getting the most accurate and clear information about the rest of the world and what's going on in markets and the economies in other countries that may have direct effect on the Vietnamese economy or someone's business here in Vietnam, and vice versa. There's a lot. As much as we believe in Vietnam and we think, our story and our economic growth is something that, most people should pay attention to, like everything, people are busy. They're worried about what's local to them. And there's not enough really solid, reputational sort of sources of information about Vietnam to the rest of the world. And so that's why, Bloomberg as a platform is something that, I really cared about and appreciated, because once you kind of have data being generated about Vietnam and sent out to the rest of the world through Bloomberg, it is a trusted source of objective data. And that actually helps basically our economy as a whole. Now, there's obviously many aspects of the Bloomberg business, and we're partners with them in trying to create what I'll call a one Bloomberg type of a viewpoint. But we're focused obviously on a publication of Business Week. And again, it's in-depth sort of coverage of specific businesses, industries, emerging trends in Vietnam. And then reciprocally, we try to cover all the emerging trends around the world or things like trade agreement and stuff, and make sure that our readership in Vietnam is informed of what's going on around the world that's of special importance to anybody in Vietnam. So I'm proud to be a part of this. Like I said, again, my Americanness, I've grown up, reading Bloomberg's publications. When I was working as a banker in New York, I was using Bloomberg terminals. So, it's always been the gold standard source of data, market data, and reliable information. And, now that we're here in Vietnam, I hope we get readers and more people who read our content to make sure they're up to date on everything that's happening in the world.
For me, when you talk about the capitalist pursuits and contributing back to society, I think for me, firsthand, when I read the article, Henry, this is much to the latter, because if I remember back in my days after graduating from Cambridge and applying for jobs in London, one of the first things all the career advisor at my university said, you have to read the Economist every single week. You have to read the Financial Times every single day. And more often than not, and kid you not, 85% of the times when I go into the interview, what was the article in the Economist about? What was the Financial Times about? Why did the Bank of England cut interest rates? Right. So access to information back then in the UK through those two sources was readily available. And for the first time, I think in Vietnam, we have something similar. If I think back when I was 18 or 19 years of age in Vietnam and want to look for an article that has all the latest news of what is going on a diverse magnitude of topics, this is the one I would go for. So all of the kids out there graduating from uni, want to be up to speed and maybe gunning for jobs in Vietnam, hopefully they will have this as one of their sort of preparation toolkit to be up to date and, answer the questions smartly.